So the anti-justice warrior, the so-called anti-justice warrior, which I'll just call the AJWs. Um, the issue here is the difficulty that they present uh, is it's not that there's a worry they're going to take over or rise again. The tide of history is absolutely clear in this matter. I have no concern that in the centuries to come they will have continued to fade away. Their attitudes just don't stand up um, to the truth. Um, they are holding on to a folk wisdom, a folk value system that evolved in creatures that generally didn't live past 30, right? They make arguments that, oh, but it's natural. Our view is natural. Yeah, I know. So is typhoid, right? So is malaria. So truth is like gravity. It's a so-called weak force in the short term. I mean, the truth can be this way, and a person could just wiggle their little legs and easily walk in the other direction. They barely will feel any pull or tug to the truth if they just ignore it. But it's like gravity. Over the long run, it defines the patterns and shapes of the universe. People's denial of the truth using their will to deny the truth, uh, in the long run, gets worn away, right? And then the patterns that truth imposes uh, turn these denials of the truth into just random little spikes on the way to the steady state. The noise in the system that gets dampened over time. So my concern politically is not about the long-term situation in which ideas are going to evolve that even I, as insightful as I am on social and political matters, even I haven't figured out the ideas of 200 years from now. I mean, they're pretty much going to probably be my ideas, but they'll have started to get even newer ones that are at some point, maybe 500 years to be more realistic, 1,000. Um, what I'm concerned about is that I'm not going to live 1,000 years. And like right now, during my lifetime, I'd rather have a smoother path. So, Hillary, I do believe the Democratic Party is corrupt, and in the same way that the system is corrupt, but they're competent. They understand the system, this corrupt system, and the parts of it that work. It's dysfunctional, but what isn't dysfunctional? It's a car that backfires a lot. The Democrats right now are a smoother path to the future. Sure, they're a block. They're trying to block the future too, but their blockage is smoother. Not no torture, but less torture. Not no war, but less spurious wars, right? Less families broken up, less panic about stupid shit, less disease because they're cutting the CDC. Less of that. So it would be smoother in the here and now. Now, it's possible that getting to the future that we all know is coming, and it sure as hell isn't going to be full of the folk wisdom of 1,000 years ago, for sure. I mean, what are the chances of that? Zero. So it might come quicker if there's a chaotic situation, right? Right? I'd like a smooth path, which would be Hillary, but let's say you take Trump and then you get a chaotic path. But what happened after Hitler? Anti-fascism had a big surge. It's once people have to see that shit, the cat's out of the bag. The disinfectant of sunlight is on everything now. We're watching the Machiavellian play right in front of our eyes, and the people that are a bit slow catching up, they're going to catch up. It's inevitable. And once they all figure out what the people that believe in social justice and economic justice have figured out, uh, the result will be, automatic. It's inevitable because that process is ongoing. And it doesn't matter how many AJWs try to hold on to what they perceive of as a past glory, which itself is hysterical because they're holding on for the supremacy of the white male, and they were the fucking guy in the street getting kicked in the face back then. There being a white male didn't amount to anything for them. They were the guy that worked their whole life and ended up homeless in the streets because, his kids died before him or moved away or whatever, or they didn't forgive him for something. They were the people dying in the street after a life of hard work that Social Security saved, right? They weren't the king of fucking England. No. And I'll finish up with exactly what I'm talking about how they don't know who they are in history. Um, Now, one thing is I've been entirely getting behind the word cuck. That's fine. You know, cuck power. And part of the reason is just like the word SJW supposedly being negative with social justice in there. Um, okay, to be a cuck, you have to have landed a woman. A woman has had to chosen you as her full-time relationship. Now, if she's having children, having sex with other people and having kids and then you're raising them, you know, her loyalty is in question. But you're still the guy that landed a woman. The guy that's coming in and cucking you is he's the gamma man. He has to try to sneak his genes, right? So 1 in 70 kids is gonna be this backdoor child. So he could sneak his genes in because he can't land a woman. He can't protect the child. So he needs to trick this other, the real man, so-called cuck, the alpha male that got an actual mate. He's got to trick him into, raising his kid along with his other 3 kids, um, and protecting them, and with his ability to actually survive and be attractive, um, to be the kind of person that uh, you would partner with in the open and admit that you even knew. Um, he might even know that child is from someone else. Women. If well, you guys don't, but that's but if for non-AJWs that understand women, they're just people. They have drives and things happen. You got to watch out. I'm not saying it's okay, but I am saying there's guys that have figured it out. Figured, well, uh, she's still the mother of my other children, and they take ownership of that kid. They they know that kid is another man's child. They raise it especially like it was their own child. They own that and make that child grows up thinking they're the boss of the world, and the little backdoor men skittering around are just like cockroaches. Now, evolution's a funny thing, and the little cockroach men, they've managed to keep their genes alive too, to a lesser degree, but fair enough. All's fair in love and war, right? And that's you guys. You're holding on to a weak position, a parasitic position that you're proud that you're parasitic. But the reason you're feeling attacked as if you're being eliminated is it's just because you are. You're being eliminated. You're drying out in the sunlight. You are falling prey to the first wave of psychological antibiotics. And yeah, we have a few social justice kids. I mean, all campus intellectuals are annoying. Right, left, center, whatever. You might as well admit that. Um, but they're also applying to you the hydrogen peroxide uh, that burns an infection like you. And so you're just, I'm triggered. Not all. Not all.